The Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilize is the mode, that's the MR code. Hey! We growing, we know it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, one and all. This is the Marcia Weekes Show, and we are coming to you live from BIM, from Barbados. This is the national flag of Barbados, and you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. Today is indeed a great day. Today is a great day. It is the 20th of July. God is good. And you are to say all the time, and I say God is good. So let's do it again. God is good. I can't hear you. All the time. God is good. God is good. All the time. All the time. God is good. Oh, we want to give God all the thanks and all the praise. We are alive. And we are in the land of the living. I tell you, we are here in the land of the living. It is a beautiful day to be alive. And I'm seeing so many of you on this evening. We missed you last evening because we had that special show for the fathers and the children and the community. And it was just amazing. We have some, we're trying to get some clips so you. We've all been tired, been sleeping, resting up, but we're here, and we're going to have an amazing show tonight. Dr. Derek Alleyne is here with us. And I said to him, Dr. Alleyne, what is your topic tonight? Because we were back and forth. We're going to be doing a tribute to Sir Garfield Sobers. And but we felt tonight would have been too sudden to do it. We need to do more research. So I kept asking, what is the topic that you're going to talk about? You know what he said? Dr. Derek Alleyne tells me, who is Mia Motley? Oh my Lord. I had to send him some laughing emojis because tonight, we're going to have a ball on here tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So you need to make sure you yes, you have to. I'm a big girl who I met. I met you. I want to talk about that, but I want to make sure that you like and share. We're gonna have a great time tonight, and why Dr. Derek Alleyne being on the show is so important. It's because they want to paint a narrative to us about who Mia Motley is. Everybody who is past a certain age, they tell me the same story. Remember, I was born here. So everybody that I talk to who are of a certain age, say about over 50, they give you a whole different story from what they are trying to paint to us right now. Believe it or not. And it is going to be very interesting because it is all about what they want to tell us, the narrative of what they want to tell us and the world about this particular individual. And that's why we're seeing that and feeling the dichotomy, why we feel that something is off. There is this international picture, and then there's a picture at home, and then there's another picture in the streets, right? Yeah, there is one on the block, There's a picture on the block. There's a picture that you and we see and we're perplexed. And there's a picture that is on the international stage. And he is going to pull it all down for you tonight. So he's gonna make sure we understand who is Mia Motley. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Corey Beckles is going to be on, and he's talking about wills. How many of you have been learning a lot from attorney Corey Beckles? Yes. I mean, I know I read stuff online or might see a video and I look at it differently. And you're watching something on YouTube and I know that, and makes you want to go and check if you got everything in place. Do you have everything in place, Marcia? We have to. And our health corner last week was amazing, and all the weeks before, Maurice Gaskin was on. And tonight we are going to have Dr. Rolrick Hines is going to be on for our health corner. Let me tell you, we have some very capable people here on the Marcia Weekes Show. Come on. It's really, really awesome. I love it. Love it. Going to be a great, great show. We're going to ask you to like and share. And I can't start the show without welcoming everybody. Monica Ince, Mavis Lashley, how you doing, girl? Judy, hey, how you doing, Judy? How are you? I have not seen you in a little bit. I can't wait for us to have Roadside Parliament and get to see you again, Judy. Lucinda, how are you? Oh, Lucinda, I haven't seen you in person because we have no march and we have no Roadside Parliament. What's going on? Listen, Bajan boy, I met you yesterday and your wonderful son. That was awesome. It was great meeting you, sir. Thank you for coming and supporting. Andrea Critchlow, Jefferson Sobers, Teroni, we missed you. Hope you can make it the next time. Hi, Wayne. How are you? Lori Bob. Lori, I was supposed to give you a call, but the truth is, can I be honest? I slept out today and I didn't get to call you. Lori, can you send me a message in WhatsApp to let me know what time on Friday is the skip supposed to arrive on Friday? Is it Friday morning? So that I can begin to get the volunteers and myself. We're coming down on Friday to start to work on Tony the Tiger's house to clean up. Yes. So yes, and thank you for liking and share, Lori. Hi, Wayne. I'm a big girl. I met her yesterday. Well, I'm a big girl on Saturday. She came and she helped us. Oh my Lord, she was a great, great, great help. I'm a big girl. Oh Lordy. Although we needed a lot more volunteers, right? I really, really wish we had more of you coming to help at these events. I know Judy would come, she's recovering. Judy would have come to help. But I'm a big girl. Thank you so much for your help. We got home about 12 o'clock last night. Oh my God. Thank you so much. You were wonderful. And I planted out the potato slips this morning. Listen, we're a family here. You don't let them tell me I can't shout out to you all. Sherry Berry, Sandra Howell. This is family now. For real. Carol, Jacqueline, Alleyne. Yes, Jackie. Jackie, I know I'm going to see you on Friday, my darling. We can probably drive up together from St. Philip. Matthew B, how you doing? Sonia Perch, Cameron Harding, Pauline Maynard. How are you doing, my sister? How are you? We are due a conversation. We are. Hey, Cami, Beverly Perscott, Marcia, how are you? Next time we want to see you guys out. Come out and help with Tony the Tiger. Get his place cleaned up. We really do need volunteers. It's usually the same people all the time. Let's put some other faces there. Hey, Chantel, Calendar, Sharon, Diane Husband, Sandra Brewster. How are you, Sandra? Calendar, Andrea Critchlow, Sandra Pierce. How are things going, Sandra Pierce? Maureen Knight, Mildred Bed. Yes, we were missing in action. No show yesterday. I was too tired. I'm always trying. I'm to the last minute. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to see. But we had so much to do. We didn't leave that location until midnight because we have to get the school cleaned up and back out, back up. Yeah. First Wizard, good evening. Yes. Yes, Sandra, glad to know you're doing better. Yes. Well, folks, we are here in Barbados, but something has occurred in Guyana. And this is with our wonderful brothers and sisters in Guyana. And, it's such a pity that even our news cycle, we have us so separated. I know I put up on my Facebook page the tragedy that occurred in Guyana, but a lot of people, they didn't even know about it until I put it up. I heard that later on there was a news release on it, but we are supposed to be one Caribbean, part of CARICOM, and it is amazing to see how we're still so divided. So such a tragedy could occur, and it's on CNN, it's on this particular channel that I'm going to show now. Wyon, it's called Are We On Wyon, and we're barely hearing anything in our news, or we heard it after. You see what I mean? But can we just listen to a little bit of this account of it, and then we'll have a discussion quickly.
Major search and rescue operation is underway off the coast of Guyana after a passenger ferry that carried more than 130 people capsized during an overnight voyage. Dozens have been rescued, but many still remain unaccounted for as emergency crews race against time to find survivors, if at all. The MV Barima was traveling from the capital, Georgetown, to the inland town of Port Ketuma in the oil-rich Essequibo region when it overturned. Officials say that initial reports suggest that the vessel was struck by a large wave. Authorities even confirmed that 67 people, including 15 children, have been rescued so far, while search teams continue to look for the remaining 66 passengers and crew members who are currently listed as missing. Prime Minister Mark Phillips said that the captain and the first mate were among those rescued and have rejoined the search efforts to assist emergency responders. One survivor, 18-year-old, said most passengers were asleep when the ferry overturned. He spent nearly 6 hours in water before being rescued and fears his wife and young children did not survive.
Yeah. Folks, that is really, 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 really sad. And to know that it occurred right here. I was listening to another report that said that they were able, the opposition leader, he has a search team out as well. And I must say that opposition leader, without taking any sides, I'm not part of any politics in Guyana, please. So don't come for me. But I really believe, I admire what he's doing. Whatever you think his motive is, the point is that people are being helped. And he's helping people of all races. This is Mohammed. And, you know, he has a search and rescue team out there, and he himself looks like he's diving out there as well. I thought that was phenomenal. And he reported that they were able to find one baby, a baby, because the children were sleeping on the floor. They had laid things down for the children to sleep, you know. And there's a pregnant woman that was found drowned, dead. So they're looking for still another 66 persons, and I think they found a couple out of them. Not many. They before I came on, I saw where they actually found they found pieces of the boat. Yeah, and yeah, it is a sad event. I'm a big girl, very sad event, and we continue to pray for them. I really do pray for them, you know. We're yes, I saw that people are saying that the ferry was overcrowded. There has not been a proper investigation as yet, so I am not going to make any kind of judgments on it or statements on it. I don't know. Right now, it's about getting the people, see if we can find anybody alive. You know, parents are crying for the children, and it is yeah, it is a sad thing. Yes, Lisa, a very sad thing that is happening. Sometimes you get up and you think you know, Lisa, you know, you have a lot of things to deal with, and when you hear of others, you know, can you imagine that mother tonight whose child has not been found as yet? Can you imagine that? How do you sleep? How do you sleep knowing that your child has not been found? How do you sleep? Yeah. So as even through sleep and wake today, as I was resting, I was praying for those parents and everybody involved. One thing I will note though, how many of you ever seen or heard the Prime Minister of Guyana speaking? Usually, because I watch a lot of stuff that's happening in Guyana, it is the president, the Indian president. Look who is on CNN and on the international news right now to deal with this tragedy. Not the president, not the vice president, but the prime minister. Obviously, I understand that his role is to deal with things national, but he has not been seen really. It's interesting. That's just my take on it. You know, because I do follow a lot of things in Guyana, and I was surprised that they said the prime minister Yeah. As Lisa is saying, you don't even sleep when they are sick. So imagine this. Yes, very sad and hurtful. Very, yeah. Well, folks, and again, we ask you to pray for Guyana at this time, and specifically for those families who are hurting at this time. Okay, but yesterday, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I want to thank all of you. At the present, there are about 400 of you who are on. And I want to thank you for your support for yesterday. Yesterday was a great event. Why was it great? It was a time where the community came together, where fathers walked into Praise Academy with their children. One child, two children, and they came to watch the football. They came to bond with their children. Some of them, the children not really into football, but it's an opportunity for them to bond. Some of them, they were there while they were there, they were speaking to one particular person I know. I could say his name, Victor Lewis. He was there, and he and his son, they were on the phone. And I thought that was very, very good. Oh, wow. Margaret Knight, she has passed. I didn't hear that. Is that true? When did that happen? Oh, my condolences. Wow, we have some footage of her as well. We have footage. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that just kind of hit me for 6 right there. So yesterday, let's look at some of the footage, but it was amazing. We had just enough food. We were barely gonna go get oversubscribed. I tried not to put it out on social media too much. I didn't want too many people there, and we couldn't, take care of them. So we had who we needed there. But go right ahead, Dave. Let me see what you have. Let's see what you have. Oh, I know what this is. So let me set this up for you. This is a footage. So, gender people, earlier in the day, well, about 10:30 in the morning, the wires, the electrical wires that runs in the road that's above, I went outside because we were there early, Dave and I, and the wires fell. I saw the wires fell in the road. The wires fell in the road. And I said to myself, oh my goodness, what is going to happen? Is that going to impact our event? Because the wires, it's right in the street in front of us, in our gap. And the neighbor said they don't know what happened because none of us saw any big trucks come in there or anything like that. We just saw the wires down. I was there from early morning after 8, I believe. And the neighbor, we didn't see a truck come, but the wires fell. So at about 1 o'clock or so, the men started arriving. The fathers started to arrive. And what was so interesting is that those men got together and found a way to move the wires out of the road. And I'm so glad Dave chose to show this first, because I learned and I'm reminded about men. And we have to listen up and understand the men in our lives, honestly. I have one of them he's a fixer. He's a fixer. And that is what they want to do. And a lot of times we don't understand them. But here it is. The men came to the event and saw a problem and decided to fix the problem. Go ahead, Dave.
Again, man. Let me see what we can do. Let me see what the men is do, man. Look, men at work. Men tight, look one on here, look. Look this one on here doing, look.
Let me see the men.
These men in action.
Yeah, let's put on top. I didn't even remember that there's the focus for the men today.
Yeah, it's what men. What the men. What the men. And you got to tie off over here, look. You got to tie off across here, look. The men got to tie off. The men got to tie off. Men got to tie off.
For what we need. You know that you see these ties here? I had these ties on my kitchen table for about 3-4 weeks. And somebody told me yesterday evening,
Put them in your pocket.
and now look, they were needed.
Absolutely needed. Thanks, gentlemen. Problem solved. Everybody can pass. Everybody good to the powers that become and solve it. Thank you, gentlemen.
So can we come in a little closer? Of course. So we have three strong men here, and at the request of my husband, he's asked me to interview you all because this afternoon, this morning actually, about 9 o'clock this morning, when we came here early to set up, the wire outside fell down, and the neighbors were wondering what they're going to do. You know, the gentleman inside his house, he couldn't get out. We were worried whether it's going to affect us showing the World Cup. They assured us that it was telephone wires and not electricity wires. But then I saw you guys out there working. What you all came to the event, and then what happened? Who wants to tell me what happened?
Well, but when you think of wires, it wouldn't necessarily be. I appreciate what you said from the point of view of if you'll be able to show the show, because the cables now with that the sell-off flow fiber optic cables, and I can.
Although we're using a dish.
A dish.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that would have affected.
Yes, thank God.
But it would have affected residents in the area though, in terms of being served by either flow or
right.
Or the.
So we dodged the bullet.
Right, precisely.
We had the cable.
A resident in the area came in with the vehicle, and she had difficulty passing. So this is where we took the initiative to.
So you don't live in this area.
Of course not.
But you saw that there was a problem.
I'm still a Belgian.
You saw that there was a problem, and you jumped in, Clive.
Yeah, I think it's for men. It's our natural instinct to just see an issue and try and figure out how to deal with it. I think that's the way God just designed us. That's the way God made us. That's why women get so upset with us, because we're always trying to fix something. When they look at us and something's going on where they just want us to listen. I find my wife just wants me to listen to something, and I'm trying to fix it. So I think it's just the way God made me. Anything that I see, I just want to fix.
You want to fix it. Yeah. And Akeem is a parent here at Praise Academy, and he is our go-to parent. And he helps us with every and anything. And I didn't see him respond, but you know what? I was so happy Dave was talking to him, and he's here. And Hakeem, I'm not surprised you got involved. Tell me.
For one, we have to look out for our neighbors. That's one of the good commandments that God gives us, right?
Yep.
So coming here, seeing the wires down, first and foremost, that I help out, who we could help out, when we could help them out. So, I mean, like Clive said, it's just a natural instinct. Three of us come, we see the problem, need solving, we solve it. Simple. So that's really the thought that came to my mind.
Yes.
Plus, Praise having the event, Praise having neighbors does really give us a lot of leeway, not necessarily leeway, but a lot of ability to have these sort of events around. So I mean, if we could have neighbors around us, we have neighbors around us.
Yeah. And this reminded me of what happened when we came for the Father's Day event.
Yeah.
Dinner with Dad. We had the rain.
Yeah.
And you guys jumped in. And what happened? You want to tell them or Clive? Clive, what happened?
Well, the rain came in such drones that we could do nothing outside. Even though we had tents, it didn't help. And so
both of us got soaked.
He started the initiative.
Yeah.
And I just called.
Yeah.
I just fell in line, just followed.
And the other men just even though they were dressed up, because he was dressed to the nines.
Yes.
You guys were dressed up in the event, but you got soaked making the event happen.
Yeah.
And I told you not. I don't want you to touch anything,
Yes,
right?
multiple times.
but you made it happen. You guys brought everything in, right, Hakeem?
Yeah, well, somebody had to do it, Somebody had to start it. So we wanted the event to go off as planned, as good as it could have gone off with all the rain falling. So just moving it inside, getting everything organized. It was just an easy decision to make.
Yeah. An event like this, gentlemen, we're targeting men. And it was so interesting when the children got up to pick their, they were picking cherries in the back there before the game started. And just to see so many men sitting down and caught up in this game, how important an event like this is to men, bringing men together. How important is it for the society, you think?
It's a wonderful thing, the camaraderie that I would have seen amongst males over the course of the World Cup, is very much commendable. As I said, my just talked with the participants not long ago. My son and I, we have a lot of fun with it. We are rivals, but we are rivals in a very wonderful way. I want to mention something otherwise though that I would have observed and coming to the area. I'm very happy about the cooperation of the residents in the area, because in coming in and parking my vehicle, there was a gentleman, two men who were doing a bit of cleaning. I think one was the owner, and he was very much welcoming in terms of his hospitality and allowing me to park in the area. And then the other lady that drove in the vehicle, her husband came out, and the next door neighbor to them came out, and they were both men, and they came together and joined with us in terms of helping to resolve the problem. So it's very commendable when we have neighbors, of that ilk,
Yeah, coming together. And Clive, you had the opportunity of sharing your testimony of how God changed your life. And here you have this opportunity. How important is it, events like this put on by Praise Academy and the Marcia Weekes Show, how important is these kinds of events?
I think they're very, very important. We need to have avenues to reach men especially, women too, but men especially, because God chose men to lead. Yeah, and I think a lot of youngsters don't understand that they have purpose, right? Their lives have purpose. God, each and every last one of us, God has given a purpose. He made us for his purpose, right? And a lot, we go through life and we try to become a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, and we believe that that's our purpose, but that's not our purpose. Yeah, so I believe it's times like this that we come together and we start to see each other, God shine in each other, right? And I remember the first time I saw that glow in someone, that spirit, that Christ in someone. I was like, oh my God, I want that. I didn't have a clue what it was. I just wanted it. And I think the more we get to hang out with each other and the more we get to share with each other, I think the more that we see and the more we desire and grow, and that desire to know him and change in our lives and in our journey. Right, and then that change passes on to the next generation. So I think it is so important, because right now we're fighting with generations that have a couple generations that has been lost in Barbados, right? So and it's important, right? We might have lost a couple, but the ones that we have now, it is important for us to start sowing into their lives now, so that they can understand.
And you think an event like this is sowing into their lives?
Yes,
you believe that?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me go to Hakeem. Hakeem, how important are events like these? It's a big sacrifice to put them on, but how important are they to what's happening in Barbados now to our young men?
The relevance to the young people, from my perspective, is one that really shows them how to come together and how to unite, and how as men, nothing is wrong with us leaning on each other, learning from each other, fellowshipping with each other. It actually reminds me of when I was younger. As a boy, a lot of these things were commonplace, men normally would have gathered outside of the rum shops and them sort of things, but especially when it comes to sports and kite making, young men in my village used to come together and make those kites, and they had older men used to show us how to be making it sometimes. So this kind of event reminds me of how things used to be and how much we used to benefit from the frequency of this kind of coming together. So I think showing the young men now, I mean, young men nowadays, they come together a lot, they can't, but helping to show them the quality of the unity that we have and we should have, just to encourage them to continue to come together, continue to meet and fellowship with each other. That's how I think, how important I think these type of events are.
Yeah. Well, we have 2 more for the year. One is called Back to School with Dad, and the other one is Celebrating Christmas with Dad. And we're looking forward to those events, and I hope that I know the Christmas you won't, but the Back to School with Dad, Take off your pants. You help him then? You want to take off your pants? You take it. You're helping him. You're helping him. You want to go up there? You want to go up there? Careful. Yeah. You want to go up there? Afterwards, yes. After. Yeah.
Wait, just wait up, Marcia.
Yeah. What's up? You like them? Guys, be careful. Be careful, guys. Yeah, but don't pick the leaves though. Don't pick the leaves.
If this tree was an old year, that would be claiming I mind the tree.
Further, say it.
They won't go.
Watch your stick on the baby, okay?
Come. Let go. Walk.
Torres and coming up to Talifico trying to escape.
What happened? It's a foul?
Right now. He came flying off his line to make this save attempt on the Canada.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
You're excited?
Excited, yes.
Why are you so excited?
I want swimming.
You want swimming?
They will win.
Oh,
what happened?
they won't win. Why you said they won't? You don't know yet.
Yeah,
They didn't win yet.
But you know what? We have a concert. I suppose it's not up by 15, so they're supposed to be finished by now. And then we're finishing. Yes, it was a good workout. Excellent idea, Marcia.
Yeah.
Look at the men. A lot of men here. This is what we want to do.
Yes.
It's ideal.
And you did an amazing job.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. You did a great job.
Thank you. We're ready for the concert.
Not happen without your help.
No problem.
Could not have happened. And we're getting ready for the walk.
Ready for pure soca.
Good.
Commentary. Ready. We're ready.
We got the sound system here. Ready. The sound man. That's the best sound man in Barbados.
No.
What's the name of the company?
I'm efficient.
What's the name of the company?
I'm just Wayne Cool.
Wayne Cool. Well, we're going to keep him. We're going to keep him, guys.
Even though Nico Williams took the ball. Video review shot was a wrong call. They could have still given the goal because he took it to take the whistle until after the ball was in the net. I see nothing there that would make me think. The more concerning thing, not only are Argentina down a man and defending, but their star man and the difference maker has been their goalkeeper, and he is still.
I'm back. I saw you jumping up.
Me?
What happened?
I ain't jump over there.
You didn't jump up. What happened?
Substitutions ready.
You almost lost.
Almost, but
Almost. You're still there. You're still in it.
you said it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have more to bring to you. But you know, throughout the we're gonna bring some more of the coverage probably Wednesday for you in our Elevate time, so you can see a little bit of what happened. And we were supposed to have 60 persons there. I think we ended up with about 75. And we were doing our best. Hi, good night, Dr. Hines. How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I am good. I'm excited. You know, once I see the children, the community coming together. It's really wonderful to see everybody together, working together. The men taking responsibility. And, you know, it was a wonderful experience. But it's good to see you again. We haven't seen you for a couple of weeks because you sent us Maurice Gaskin.
Yeah, Maurice. Yeah, wealth of information you got from him.
Yes, we did. And we know you're going to do no less. And so I went into a little bit of your time, and I have to give it back to you. But,
It's okay. It's okay.
that's okay. All right. We're over time. We'll do 20 minutes this week because we had to get in. But so I'm going to shut up right now and just let you go right ahead in our health corner. Go right ahead. It's a pleasure having you.
Okay. Tonight we're going to speak about water. You know, it's about the most important chemical we have around. If I had a choice, and they say the number one chemical, number one medicine that I must have in my private practice, and that would be water. You know, a lot of us see it when we go to the hospital and stuff. They see it as normal saline. You know, they inject it into the vein, you get a normal saline drip. But that's about the most important medicine you can have in a medical institution. What I would say is that we are 60% water. You know, your body is made up of at least 60% water, and it's very important. Now, the world of itself is made up of about 70% water. You know, the of that 97%. Now, there are only two types of water. Okay, and 97% of the water on Earth is salt water, and the other 3% consists of fresh water. And we can only drink fresh water. We can't drink salt water. Okay, and therefore the entire world is there's a sort of we say Barbados is water scarce, but the entire world is water scarce. Because only 3% of the water on Earth is what we call drinkable water. You know, whether it's fresh water. The other 97% is salt water. We can't consume salt water, and water goes through a cycle. That cycle consists of there's the water cycle there on your screen. It goes through evaporation, condensation, precipitation, which we refer to as rainfall. You know, when the rain is falling, we say that's precipitation. So it goes through that cycle over and over again. First, you get evaporation. That comes from, you know, the sun is hot outside and water evaporates from streams, rivers, you know, from the sea, whatever, and it goes up, you know, it goes up into the sky, and then there's condensation into the clouds. You know, the clouds, when you look up, you see the clouds, there's condensation happening up there, and when the clouds become what we call become full, you get precipitation, which is rainfall, and it comes back down, and it collects in the sea, collects in the rivers and streams and so on, and it's available to us, and it goes through that cycle over and over again. Because water has different forms. When it's on Earth, it usually exists as liquid form, and then when it evaporates, it goes to the gas form, and goes up in the sky. When it goes up in the sky, it's converted back to liquid form again.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, when the water comes back down, it goes into aquifers, which is usually goes underground. It's an underground supply. And we have two types of aquifers. We have unconfined and confined aquifers. And you can see at the top there, you have an unconfined aquifer. And in our case, it's mostly limestone that the water goes into the earth and it goes through the limestone and it filters down into the aquifer. It's usually sand. In most places, there's sand, and there's stone and so on that you filter down through. And then there's the confined aquifers. The confined aquifers, they lie below. They're usually two borders. The upper layer and lower layer is usually solid rock. It's impermeable, and water in there is usually it goes in there, and the top you have to drill into the aquifer. You're drilling through stone to get to the water, and that's the underground water supply. And these aquifers, we try not to get them contaminated. But before we get to that, we have another picture there where we show the flow. It usually flows parallel on the ground, and it can flow right into the sea. Right? Yeah, there's how aquifers flows. They flow from the upper land level and flow right down into the sea, and there's a border there, which the mixing of salt water and fresh water, and you want the pressure of the water coming from the land.
So
After
can I ask a question? So this blue area and the what's brown, you're saying they shouldn't mix.
the
What's
upper
up there?
the upper brown area, that's the land area above,
Yes.
and the lower brown area, that's a confined aquifer, where they're separated, and they're sort of confined. You have to drill down into the confined aquifer to access the water. But I'm talking about the upper aquifer, right, where the water is flowing. They're flowing from the land down to the sea, and where the arrows are sort of meet. The water pressure from the sea, water pressure coming down the aquifers. That's where the fresh water meets the salt water.
I got you.
And you don't want the pressure from that's coming off the land to be less than that which the pressure from the sea. If not, you'll get intrusion of the salt water into your underground freshwater supply. You begin to get salt in your underground supply. That's like places like, I don't know if you know Down Spring Garden,
Yes.
where that's where they meet. They meet there where the fresh water, where you get brackish water.
That swampy area. That swampy
Yeah.
area.
Yes. So that's why there's a desalination plant there to bring out they collect the water, and the desalination plant gets rid of the salt, before you drink it. But usually only if your water table becomes low and the pressure where it flows in the sea is low, sea would push, the water pressure at the sea is higher, and it will push further and further into your underground aquifer. You understand that?
Yes, understood. Thank you.
Right. So basically we as I mean we as normal citizens don't really have control over that, but we can control whether or not these aquifers become contaminated, huh? Because all the gullies and so on around the island, they're in touch with the aquifers. People don't understand that. And anything you dump there can go down to your aquifer. Everything basically that you dump on your land. And anything that's contaminated, that's why we need to protect our aquifers. Okay, they're underground, and you go through a slow filtration process to assess them. In our case, we have limestone, and when we have a low water table, it takes long for the water, the rain, to get down to the aquifer, which is okay. It's good. When you have high water table in places, I'm not familiar with how they zone them now, but before the zones, you have like zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Zone 4, you take a long time to get down to the water table. But in zone 1, the water table is pretty high. And those were the areas that you're not, we didn't allow people to develop housing or any type of activity there because the filtration was very shallow and easy. You have easy access to the water table, so you couldn't build houses and so on water tables. And anytime you build near water table areas, that like zone 1 areas, you had to have a septic tank because you didn't want the waste going into the water to contaminate the aquifer. Okay, because you go from the aquifers, water is you drill down to the aquifers, and that's pumped to a reservoir, and from the reservoir, the water is pumped to your homes. In the reservoir, they usually add a whole. They test the water to see what is in the water, and if they find anything wrong with the water, like a high bacterial level or so on, they would usually treat it before it reaches your homes. If there's a high chemical level, like if they detect someone is dumping some sort of, let's say, gasoline or some other chemical,
Yes.
they would try to remove it before it reaches your home. They'll sort of work on it. So it's very important not to contaminate these aquifers. All right. So we are citizens. We are we play a very vital role, and we need to reduce our illegal dumping because everything you dump, eventually, when you get rainfall, it goes down to the aquifers, and that's where we get our drinking water from. And our bodies are made up of 60% water. We need water to cool our bodies. We need water to aid in digestion. Um, our joints. There's mostly fluid in our joints, and we need water to get our joints moving. Like
I never thought about that the fluid when they said we talk about fluid and the joints. I didn't. I mean, I should think it could. I should think that it's water, but I don't.
yes, it's water. That's
It's
where we get it
water.
from. Mhm.
So
Right,
the water is so important. Yes, continue.
right. So if we usually things, if you don't get enough water, you become dehydrated, and dehydration can lead to lots of problems. Okay, like
Mhm.
the same joints. Some people can tell you when they become dehydrated, their joints hurt. You know,
Mhm.
because if your body's not adequately hydrated, then it becomes difficult to move the joints. Especially as we get older, we need to keep hydrated. All right, and one of the things we have to remember is that on a normal scale, we consume or we need to consume at least 2.5 to 3.5 liters of water per day, you know? And if we don't do that, we start to become dehydrated, and it's very difficult to tell because one of the only things in your body that detects hydration or how well you're hydrated is your tongue. Sometimes
Mhm.
when you become dehydrated, you feel it in your tongue. You start to feel dehydrated. So other than that, you have to monitor your urine because your urine normally should be straw colored color. Straw
You said
colored
it
means
should be straw color. Straw
straw
color.
colored. Yeah, it should.
Mm.
If you start to see your urine being a dark yellow, that is cause for concern. All
So,
right.
so can I ask a question, Doc? So when you say you said it is supposed to be 2.5 to 3.5 liters per day. How does that translate in glasses of water, like an 8-ounce glass? Because you hear different, some people say you can't drink too much water, you shouldn't drink too much water. It could also make you sick. I've heard
Yeah.
that. So how do we translate that in glasses,
Yeah.
an 8
A,
ounce glass?
a, a normal, let's say the 8-ounce glass would translate to, okay, between 64 and 84 ounces per day is, is normal. So an 8-ounce glass, you say 8 is a 64, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like 8 glasses per day.
8
Eight
glasses
glasses.
of water.
Yeah.
How many of you out there drink 8 glasses of water per day? How many of you drink 8, or it could be one of those bottles of water, the regular little bottle is about 8 ounces, right?
Loaded bottle. Well,
Or less.
usually, um, oh, there. You mean normal glass or the bottle? Because people have bottles different sizes. Some
Yes.
people carry around these drinking bottles. Some of them are 1 liter, 2 liters. Some people have it down pat. They fill that bottle and they make sure that they consume it before the day is out.
Everything before the day is up. Lots of people say, well, Sharon said not me. And Judy said, not me, because we don't drink 8 glasses of water per day. But you're saying, Doc, it is important that we drink it. Even what about, does that help with high blood pressure and all of that?
Well, don't necessarily help with high blood pressure. Um, High blood pressure has to do with a number of other things that would affect your blood pressure. But you see, you lose water a lot. Depends on the type of environment you work in. Because you lose
Yes.
it through perspiration. Just simply breathing. If you work in an air conditioned building, air conditioning is usually dry. Okay, and you lose a lot of water through just normal breathing. Because your as you breathe in and out, you lose a lot of water.
Mm-hmm.
Because your nasal passages and so on needs to be moist. And as you breathe in this air conditioned air, which is usually very dry, you lose water there. And as I said, if you're working outside, you lose lot of water in sweat, you know. And in general, in order to keep your kidneys functioning, you usually pass a lot of water during the day, and you got to replace that. Okay, and when
Yes.
you and when you eat, you need water for digestion and so on. So that's why you need at least 2.5 to 3.5 liters per day.
Yes.
You know, or you
But
constantly lose water.
But is it in your practice, do you find that people are drinking, your patients are drinking enough water?
As a general rule, you generally don't. People don't know. People usually they say, "Well, I drink enough," but to quantify it, as I said, same 8 glasses per day. People don't look at that. People just know that they drink when they become thirsty. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and drinking a soft drink is not the same as drinking, you know.
But it's
More,
liquid. It's a liquid, doctor.
yes,
I thought any liquid should work.
uh, water is water. Water.
So you're
Uh,
telling me I can't get away from supposing I eat, say, 3-4 oranges one time, and I
yeah,
get juices from the oranges. Can that work?
but yeah, of course, it can work, you know. But the the ideal thing is water. But you can also you can some juices and stuff, that can account for and make up some of your liquid intake, but the, very few people will sit down and measure how much water or how much liquid or fluid they are consuming. You know, some people do. Some health fanatics just measure how much water they're drinking per day. They measure how much juice they have on drink, how much natural water they're going to drink, and they do it and get it right. But the
Mm-hmm.
average person, as I said, they just respond to their tongue. When the tongue feeling dry, they drink
Mm-hmm.
some water. When it's feeling okay, they leave it. Okay, but
Yes.
as
But
a general, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
sorry.
finish, sir. You go finish, sir.
No, as a general rule, just ensure you consume the 6 to 8 glasses per day, and you ought to monitor your activities. 'Cause if you know you're a type of person who gets up and jog every morning, you can lose a lot of sweat and so on. You got to
Mm-hmm.
consume the appropriate amount of water, make sure you become dehydrated, and monitor your urine. You know,
Yeah.
if you
Monitor
see
what's happening. But like right now, I love to drink tea. So
it,
I'm drinking here, all kinds of mix up in this cup. And you see, it's a big cup. Can I use tea as one of
but
my,
yeah,
I do
yeah,
drink regular water, but I drink a lot of teas. Can teas work?
yeah. Of course, tea can work. Um, what you have to watch is things like alcohol consumption.
Mm,
Around this time of year, people consume a lot of alcohol, and a lot of them don't go home and hydrate themselves afterwards. You know, if you spend a whole night drinking and partying, you're partying, you're losing sweat, and drinking alcohol, you can become dehydrated very fast. So the consumption of water is essential in those periods of time. Okay.
yes, yes. Well, we literally, oh my goodness, I see Mr. Corey Beckles, I believe, is in the studio as well and waiting. So we are going to take 3 minutes to wrap up. This is so interesting. Whatever I learn on the show, believe me, I go and I practice. So I know I'm going to add some more water tomorrow. As well, I'm going to keep drinking my teas, but I will add some more water, sir. Thank you so much for this session, and I love the way you presented it. Anything that you want to say in the next 2 minutes?
Well, we we often hear that Barbados is a water scarce country. It's not so much water scarcity; it's the management of water is what we have to improve because the entire world is water scarce. The
Mm-hmm.
entire world, you know, and we need to. A lot of people are not what we call water aware. Is that, as I said, the illegal dumping. It's an absolute no-no. This, when people talk about cleaning our gullies and so on, it's not a joke. It's not a joke because whatever you put into that gully is going to find its way down to our water table. Okay, and it's very difficult to clean up an aquifer after you have polluted it. Okay, so the ideal thing is not to pollute it in the first place. Okay, and we are moving towards we have to be able to trap rainwater when we get it. Okay, we need to build some dams and so on around Barbados. So as you see, it can eventually flow right down to the sea. Okay, and we can lose a lot of water there. But we gotta trap it when it's inland. And the only way you can trap it is to build some dams and store it in reservoirs, and then we can pump it back into our aquifers when we need it. So we have to conserve water. As the old people tell you, don't waste water. Don't waste it.
Don't waste water. I never thought of it like that. I knew that the body is made up of 70% water, but the way you put it, the water, the body's most essential medicine. I never saw it like that. I would love if you could continue on this and talk about some of the diseases that we can that we can see in our body as a result of not taking this most essential medicine for our bodies. Thank you so much, Dr. Roderick Hines. And I heard you had a birthday a couple of days ago. Happy belated birthday.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes. Wow, that again and another amazing session. We are blessed here on the Marcia Weekes Show, loyal opposition viewers, to have these quality people researching and making presentations to us. If you have not been drinking enough water, listen, start. Let's do it together. Yeah, let's do it together. Increase our water intake. Make a solid effort to drink water. Even after the show, come on, let's go drink a glass of water when the show is over before you go to bed. Yes, and keep some in on your night table. You get up, go to the bathroom and drink some when you wake up at night. So let's try that together, guys. Drinking more water. All right. Well, here we have Mr. Corey Beckles. We missed you last week, sir, because of me.
Hey, good evening, Marcia.
Yes.
And to everyone.
Good evening,
yes,
sir.
Pleasure to be back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back again. And, we took a bit of your time, which I'm going to give you back. So I'm going to just let you go at it. What are we talking about tonight?
Yes, so good evening again. Yeah, so we are going to be speaking about something called resealing. The process of resealing what we call a grant of probate or a grant of administration.
So you're resealing a grant.
Grant, yes, resealing a grant. And what it really refers to, you can apply. A person may have assets, not only here in Barbados, but they may have assets in any other country, any other Commonwealth country, any other country within the world. Usually you will find persons have property or assets in United States of America, or even the United Kingdom. In fact, there are persons who have assets, Barbadians who have assets as far as other European countries, Canada, which is North America. But other European countries like Switzerland, Sweden, you will find that Barbadians have assets in those countries. Now, what happens with their estate, because that estate has to be distributed in that particular country. And there's sometimes sometimes the beneficiaries or the executor, as the case may be, may apply to obtain a grant, either a grant of administration if the person did not have a will, or a grant of probate if the person died with a will. The executor in that particular country would apply to obtain a grant. Now, to avoid having to duplicate the same process, applying for a grant in that outside the country, outside of Barbados, and also applying for another grant in Barbados, because there are also assets in Barbados. What will happen, as long as you have applied and obtained the grant outside of Barbados, you can reseal that grant. So the grant in, let's say for instance, in Canada, the grant of probate or the grant of administration in Canada would have the seal of the probate registry, as the case may be, in Canada. And to have that grant, or to give that grant authority in Barbados, it has to go through the process of resealing. So there's no need to do two separate applications in Barbados as it relates to a grant of administration or a grant of probate. What you're doing when you get the grant in Canada, in America, UK, as the case may be, you can apply to the courts here in Barbados to reseal that grant. And what you're actually doing, you're giving the grant force and authority in Barbados. Right? So you will find that when you look into the newspaper on a particular days, it could be any day, you will find that persons have applied, they're advertising in a newspaper that they have applied to reseal a grant. Whether that grant was received or given in America, United Kingdom, as the case may be, you will find that they are basically telling the entire world, telling all Barbadians that they have applied for a grant in UK, in America, as the case may be, but they now are asking the court here, the probate registry, to reseal that grant in Barbados.
So let me ask you a question for somebody who, like me, a layperson who doesn't really understand. Based on what you're saying, is that the grant is when the executor is given what is the letters of administration, or
yeah, what we call letters of administration. Yeah,
letters of
administration or letters testamentary.
Right, so that they can start the proceedings with the estate.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
And so if they got those letters of administration in the UK, when they come to Barbados, they will have to reapply.
Right. So when they come to Barbados, you don't have to apply for letters of administration for the assets in Barbados. So remember, we have assets in United Kingdom, for example. We have assets in United Kingdom, and there has been a grant of letters of administration in the United Kingdom. So now there's also assets in Barbados.
Yes.
So what will happen? You're not going to make a fresh application for letters of administration in Barbados. What you're going to do, the administrator or administratrix would bring that grant with them, which is just a document. They will bring that document called the letters of administration, letters testamentary, as the case may be. They will bring it here in Barbados. And what they will ask the court to do here in Barbados is reseal that grant. Or reseal that document. And the resealing process really is giving that document authority here in Barbados, because it was a document that was issued by a registry outside of Barbados.
Yes.
But in order for that document to have authority in Barbados, you have to go through the process of resealing, because that document will have the seal of the registry in UK, United Kingdom. And if it has the seal of the registry or the court in United Kingdom, it means United Kingdom will have authority over all of the assets, or that document will have authority over all of the assets in the United Kingdom. But an estate is not just limited to one particular country.
Correct.
So you can use that same grant to manage assets which are outside of United Kingdom.
In different countries.
But you can't just take the seal of United Kingdom and force the court or force anyone in Barbados to accept that seal. The assets in Barbados can only be authorized. The management of the assets or the estate in Barbados can only be authorized by the Supreme Court of Barbados, by the probate registry. So in order for that document to have authority in Barbados, it must contain the seal of the court in Barbados. That's what we really call resealing. So it already has the seal of another country, but in order for that to have power here or force or authority here in Barbados, the registrar of the Supreme Court must place the seal of the court on that particular document, so you can now use that document to manage the assets here in Barbados.
Wow,
That really is in a nutshell how it works. So you call it's referred to as resealing because you're actually giving it authority to act or operate outside of the original jurisdiction, outside of the original country.
So for those who are listening and they might have a relative here in Barbados and they have property in the UK, it will be the same resealing that they will have to do in the UK.
Correct. So in UK and United States of America, now they may have different names, or the process in United Kingdom may not be the same exactly as it is in United States of America. In fact, the process in you got New York, the process in New York may be different from the process in Florida. But it is the same document that you're going to get. You are going to, as soon as you complete that process, whether you're in New York, whether you're in Florida, whether you're in United Kingdom or any other European country, you are going to receive a document that authorizes you to manage the affairs of the deceased individual.
Right.
And whatever document that is, whatever it is called, whatever name they use, you can take that document with you to manage the affairs in Barbados. But before you can manage the affairs in Barbados, before you can use that document to manage the affairs of the estate, of the deceased estate in Barbados, you must apply to reseal that grant.
Do you find in your practice, you find a lot of people, whether they came from the UK, that happens, I'm sure, and their family have land and house here, and they think, they can just come, and because I have letters of administration, do you find that you've had to, advise people about this resealing of the grant?
Correct. So it is, and I will use an example. Sometimes you may have to, there's a document that has been issued here in Barbados.
Yeah.
And we may need to use that document overseas. But before we can use that document overseas, there's something called notarization. Or someone may tell you, whoever you're dealing with overseas may tell you, in order for me to verify that this document is an official document, I need you to notarize this document. It could be as simple as a birth certificate. Before that birth certificate can be verified by someone outside of Barbados, it has to be notarized. So when we are dealing with what we call cross-border legal issues that extend outside of one particular country, there must be a verification process. And that verification process for any normal document is what we call notarization. As long as the notary has looked at that document, it could even be a copy. As long as the notary has looked at that document and confirms that that document is a true record, an accurate record of your document, then the notary will place their stamp on that document. And as long as you have notarized that document can be used outside of that particular country.
Jurisdiction. Okay. Thank you, Corey. I'm learning all the time. I never heard of this before. So this is brand new information, and I truly appreciate it. Somebody is saying here, good night, Corey. The application for letters of testamentary or letters of administration is done in the country where the person dies, had the will prepared, or where the assets are held.
Right. So usually where the person dies, or where they had a will. So the person may have a will. A person may die overseas. Let me give an example here in Barbados. A person may have a will here in Barbados, but they died overseas. Even though they have died overseas, you can still probate the will here in Barbados as normal. Right? Or even if it is letters of administration. the place of death doesn't necessarily relate to where the application is going to be made. It all depends on where the assets really are. Because a person may have died overseas, but they have no assets in that particular country where they died. Because the grant really is to manage assets. That is the purpose of the grant of either letters testamentary or grant of administration.
Yeah.
So the place of death really is not the governing factor. The governing factor is where the assets are located. That really is the governing factor in cases of letters of administration. Where a person has done a will, then a person may have done a will in United States, and they may also have another will in Barbados. Those are two different wills. Right, and that's another issue we will get to. But very quickly, what you can do if you are in America, if that person had a will in America, you would apply to probate that will in America. Because if a person had two separate wills, what is usually the case is that they have separated the administration of their assets between United States and Barbados. Because a will is universal. A will can apply to any asset wherever that asset is located. But if a person has two separate wills in two separate countries, it is more likely than not that they want that to be the case. So they want the probate, they want their will to be probated in America, and they want their will also to be probated in Barbados. They have separated their assets and separated the management of their assets. Right, so to answer the question, it all depends on the assets, where the assets are located. So even though a person may have died outside of their country, they can still use that same death certificate as long as they get the death certificate from that particular country, and they can use that death certificate and make the application here in Barbados for letters of administration. So it depends really on the assets themselves.
Right. And so I think this person, I don't know when they type the question, but they say, what if you have a will in Barbados?
Right.
Okay, you made a will in Barbados, but your assets are located in another country.
Right. So very good question. So once you obtain the grant of probate here in Barbados, or the letters testamentary, you can actually also go through the resealing process in another country.
Right. I was thinking
grant here in Barbados, then you can also reseal that grant in America, UK, wherever the assets are located. But remember, the laws of each country is different. Right, so if you want specific information, I will have to let you know what pertains in America as it relates to resealing, what pertains in UK. But I know for sure the process of having a document issued overseas being resealed in Barbados. But if you want a document issued in Barbados resealed in another country, then specific procedures that only pertain to that specific.
So what is the process of resealing? What's the process?
Right. So simple case as it relates to, let me say, one for will. You have a will that was probated in another country. You need a certified, what we call a certified copy of the will. But the Succession Act, the laws of Barbados, which is the Probate Resealing and Administration Act, that would refer to something called an exemplification. So exemplification. Exemplification. Right? So what it really is that you need a copy of that will that has been confirmed to be true, confirmed to be a true copy of the original. So that's what it really means. So when you get the probate from the registry, let's say, for example, from New York. So you get the grant of probate from New York. The New York Surrogates Court is going to issue the grant of probate. And they're going to issue you with your documents that show that you did apply to probate the will. And they will issue you with a stamped copy of the will. And they'll also issue you with a document called letters testamentary. So you're not going to take those two documents, certified, stamped, with the Surrogates Court, of New York, and you're going to bring those documents to Barbados. You're going to speak to your attorney. Your attorney is going to advise you of the procedure. It is almost the same procedure as applying for any other grant, whether it's letters of administration or grant of probate. You must advertise in the newspaper first.
Mm-hmm.
There must be an advertisement. Right, yeah, so you see the comment, make sure the documents are authentic. So that's what really is, Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure, because it's coming from another country.
Another place, yes, I could
Must
understand that.
So that anyone who is looking at that document recognizes where it comes from the surrogate's court. So this must be this must be an authentic document.
Ah, okay.
The court's seal or the surrogate's court seal, as the case may be. And that seal is recognized throughout the entire world. The seal, and just to go off on in another avenue, the seal of Barbados is also recognized. Any document that is sealed here in Barbados is recognized throughout the entire world. It's a particular seal or particular identification mark that every seal that comes from any court of law will have. Right. So getting back to the question. So we have the advertisements. So you must advertise first. Then the attorney will draft up the application itself. The attorney will also draft up within those documents. The documents will actually contain the letters testamentary, and they will inform the court here when those letters testamentary were granted, to whom they were granted, because it is the person, the applicant really is the person who received, or the executor is the applicant here in Barbados to reseal those documents. And once you submit all of those documents, supporting documents, submit the advertisements to the registry of the Supreme Court, the registrar of the Supreme Court, then it will be processed, and then the registrar will make sure she seals or reseals those letters testamentary so that they're now resealed with the seal of Barbados. But you must show the registrar that a document, an authentic document, was issued overseas, giving you the authority to manage the affairs of the estate of the deceased. But be able to deal with the assets here in Barbados, you must go through that resealing process. And I gave you the resealing process in a nutshell. Of course, the circumstances will be different for, as long as the circumstances are different, the procedure may change here and there. The information that you will have in those documents will change here and there. But the governing principle is that as long as you have authenticated those documents that you receive from overseas, and you make the application here in Barbados, then everything should proceed smoothly for you to get those documents resealed in Barbados.
Yes. And what about time? As we're closing off, we have another 5 minutes. I'm going to ask Dr. Derek Alleyne for 5 minutes. What is the time? Because you're here, we're talking about it, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my Lord, how long does this take after you've done all this paperwork in Barbados? That takes some years, doesn't it? And then you have to go to, say, New York to reseal this grant.
Right.
How long does it take, Corey?
So if you have been issued with a grant in, let's say, in New York, and you want to reseal that grant here in Barbados, the resealing process is supposed to be much simpler than a normal application for letters of administration or a grant of probate. Time, I don't really like to give time periods, Marcia, because I may give a time period that really does not reflect the reality of the situation. Yes. But professionals will say, well, usually these resealing applications are done within 6 months' time, because you already have all the information there. The main information that is necessary for the resealing is the grant. So as long as the grant has been authenticated and you are informing the court, the registry here, the probate registry, that grant has been authenticated, and the probate registry has no issues with the authenticity of the documents, as long as you show to the registrar that you have advertised and you have submitted all of the supporting documents, application as the case may be, then it should not take as long as a normal application for letters of administration or a grant of probate, because the hard work basically have already been done overseas, right? But sometimes it still takes a while. Yeah, it still takes a while.
Oh my gosh, that's sort of my understanding. Well, I tell you, well, but go ahead. You were saying something.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, as it relates to the time and the time period, really, the time for these applications to be processed and to be completed, which is in my experience is the most important aspect. And I know that the probate registry has been working to, I would say, not just speed up, but to make things more efficient. You're still having a lot of teething problems. You're still having some issues here and there. But as long as you have submitted all of the documents, then and especially for this resealing, for the specifically the resealing application, most, as I said before, the documents are really coming from overseas. So the major part of the resealing process is ensuring, from the registrar standpoint, that those documents came from that specific court, probate court, surrogates court in that other country. Yeah, and that's the main. That's the main
thing. So those of you out there, I know some of you have so many questions, and I hope this answers some of the questions that you may have. If you wish, if you have more questions and you didn't, because some people don't want to necessarily post the questions in the comment section, feel free to give me a call and I will pass on your number to the attorney Beckles, so he may be able to answer some of those questions for you. Any final word before you go, sir?
Right. Yes. Resealing is very important aspect, especially in well, we call it globalization. But persons have assets. You may have stocks and bonds overseas. There are persons who are on the stock market who have interest in the stock market in America. So you will find that persons will have assets not only in Barbados. Barbadians will not only have assets here, but they will have assets overseas. And it's very important that you are aware of these processes, these legal processes, because it is more efficient than having to make a fresh application for letters of administration here in Barbados when you have already done the hard work in another country.
Yes.
So next week, quickly, I did promise I was going to speak some more about wills and the different kinds of wills. So hopefully next week, God willing, we will speak about that, the different kinds of wills.
I'm here saying I'm learning so, and I'm so competitive, in the sense that I'm here saying, man, we should have a test. But how are we going to do this test? We can't do it online because
you have to open book test.
It would have to be an open book test, but I'm learning. I'm not exaggerating. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marcia.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll be back with you next week.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to everyone also.
Yes, sir.
For joining us.
Thank you and stay safe. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye. Oh boy, you could tell I love education, folks. I love when I'm learning. I need to keep learning. And I'm learning so much on here tonight, and I love that. Well, we have another educator who is going to join us, and he's educating us in a different way. And each of these are, some of Barbados' finest. You are Dr. Roderick Hines talking about water and have me feeling guilty. I'm going to drink more water now. And you had attorney Corey Beckles talking about resealing a grant, which I knew nothing about that. And now we have Dr. Derek Alleyne. But before he comes on here, Here's the question. Did you like and share as yet? Did you like and share yet? You must, listen, I've given you 1 minute right now to share. Share the link with somebody else. This man is now going to educate us. He's another educator. Very brilliant man. And we are honored to have him on the show. I've been wanting to get him on the show, having heard from Miss McLean how brilliant he is. I never got him on. He was so busy. But we have him now in this time. And I want us to honor that. Everybody, I need you to go ahead and like and share. Yes. Okay, good. I see the numbers are going up. That means you're liking, you're sharing it in your WhatsApp groups. Well, without any further ado, here is the Dr. Derek Alleyne, who has us laughing every Monday night. Good night, sir.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Good. I am doing well. I'm doing well, man. Doing good. You're looking so nice in your black and yellow shirt. You're just missing the blue now,
Yeah.
for the 60th.
It really is blue is in it and not the black. It's a mixture of black and blue.
Oh.
When you get lash, you get black and blue. So over the week, I've been getting so many lashes.
You have been
about my attacks on the Prime Minister. So I decided to put on a yellow shirt and a black and blue structure in it. Because the black and blue is the lashes that I've been getting because they come on the program and they have to say what they have to say about Prime Minister Marley.
So who you want to tell us? Who is lashing you?
Man, you get on. I got somebody have to take my phone and monitor who sends messages. I walk on the street. As a matter of fact, I went in supermarket there in Black Rock today, and the man tell me, what Molly do you? What she got for you? People tell me that, Marcia's always bashing Morley. That program is anti-Morley, and my question is, how do you arrive at that?
Mm-hmm.
Is the truth a truth about what is happening in Barbados anti-Morley? If that is what you believe, then mean that there's something right or wrong in Barbados. So if people are saying that something is wrong, does that mean that you're against the person? So I said today I will put some notes together and I will come on the program and I will discuss who Morley is.
So the lashes don't, you're like one of those children that your mother lashing you, and you sit down looking at her like, okay, all right, when will you finish? All right, finish. Let me get back up and go and play and do what I have to do. You're like that child.
Let me first, before I engage myself in a dissertation on Morley and her politics, say that as a half a cricketer, a piece of cricketer, that I want to pay special respect for one of the greatest human beings I have ever met. I had nothing to do with Sobers as a cricketer only. He's one of the greatest human beings I have ever met in my life. There is not a bone of disrespect in that man. That man respected every person he met. He had time for the most humble, and he had similar time for those who people perceive as special people. The Queen, the King, the Dutch, whoever. Sobers showed all of us the same respect wherever we encountered him. And I hope that at some time we can find the space and the group to come on this program and do a feature on this significant, special Barbadian human being. He was a special human being, and God had to breathe special life into him for the person he was. So let me just say that before I start to discuss the Prime Minister of Barbados, and then maybe a little, I don't want to say disrespectful, but a little I don't want to say ingenuous, but it may be a little alarming. I could say was not very happy with the Prime Minister jumping on the day he died and declaring hours after his death that we will have a National Day mourning, because people got to be prepared for those things. Barbadians had already determined what they were going to do for that day. And the great man passed around 9:30, my information is, and by 10:30, the Prime Minister was announcing a day of national mourning. That is out of class. That is classless. And now she announces another day of national mourning. She engages her mouth before her brain starts. And that is the nature of the Prime Minister of Barbados. And I was very, very upset, because I learned that there was a National Day mourning about 2 o'clock. About 2 o'clock, I was sitting down eating some sauce and drinking a beer. And somebody told me, you don't know today's a National Day mourning? Fighter. No, that is a level of disrespect this woman has for issues and for Barbadian sensibilities and so on. It's always about her and trying to steal the show and to be the one who's in charge and the one who to announce this and to do that is disrespectful. Now she has to announce another day of national mourning. She has to stop it.
But you know, Dr. Alleyne, and when we point these things out, because I saw that as well, and I'm thinking, why so haphazard? Because if you want to say it's a National Day mourning, give us some time so that we can actually prepare ourselves, right? And when we make these observations, then they brand people as not liking the Prime Minister.
Exactly. It's not don't like her, it don't like what she does. No, if you want to announce a National Day of mourning, people got to say, what is it we are going to do to show the significance of the day? You can imagine the Prince of Barbados can pass away at 9:30 and you come on another hour and announce it. I mean, that's so silly, so stupid, so backwards, so inappropriate. And when you say those things, people say, you don't like Molly. It's not Molly. I don't like how Molly runs this place. How everything is an opportunity for her to put herself as the pivot of everything that happens in Barbados. And to have to come and announce another day of mourning shows that it was inappropriate and silly and stupid. And I am not one of those people who will hide my mouth. A lot of people will want to hide me back and don't want to say it. I will say it.
Yes.
That was opportunistic and stupid.
Yes, someone wrote here.
I don't care who vexed with me, who say why I'm Marcia, you know me. I say what is in my belly.
Yes. But I agree with you, Dr. Alleyne. Someone just wrote me, a viewer said, good evening, Mrs. Weekes. I wasn't aware that Friday was a National Day of mourning. Wow.
Nobody, only people who were listening to the radio would have known. I was out doing my business and I go for putting this house every Friday at a place in Bell. And at 1:30, the man told me, you don't know today's a day of national mourning for sobers? I felt embarrassed. I here sitting down, you know, right, drinking a little monkey and coke. I drink innocent sauce and I not embarrassed. And then she goes on the cricket program again. I know who she get there. I know who invited her. And then she introduces another national hero in the discussion when she's talking about sobers. What? Disrespect. Rihanna, she talk about Rihanna and try to show comparisons and all kind of ignorance. And business will not stop and tell her, Molly, you are mashing up all the principles, the morals, those ethics, the standards that we set as Barbadians. A lot of those people, they're sitting down, clasping their hands, and allowing this woman to just destroy everything, all the fabric of this country. I watching cricket, and up comes the Prime Minister talking about Sir Garfield. And what does she know about him? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I remember the time she was watching the 1979 World Cup at 9 years old, running out the classroom on the start of the morning to watch the World Cup final.
I remember. I remember Caswell talking about that, but back to that announcement. Because
every time I think about that, I just laugh. That Molly has to be the star in every picture. She don't know got co-stars and also starred and so on. She always gonna be the star girl.
So let me answer my question before you continue. In a case like that, I mean, I have never been in any form and government or governance of anywhere, but I thought that you would have had to consult with your
cabinet, your cabinet
before
and the protocol people, the cabinet and the people who set protocol will tell you, Prime Minister, this is what the protocol is. I think she was in Canada on another joyride. And she heard and she jumped on the radio and calling and made herself a total nuisance. I don't care who vexed. She made herself a nuisance. I say that.
Wow.
I don't step back on what I believe in. I don't ever step back. I don't care who the body is.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody listening, guys, this is not that you're just knocking the Prime Minister, but it doesn't make sense. Because as you said, you want to communicate in such a way that every Barbadian understand. You give us time to prepare and time we say, okay, it's a day of mourning. We can even plan a show on that day of mourning. You know, you work to suit. But if you don't know, like this person today, it's now Monday, and they're saying, wait, last Friday was a day of mourning. I missed it. And there's nobody on the cabinet to say, but you can't do it that way. There's no experienced people in the cabinet, Dr. Alleyne, to.
I'm preparing. I will put it out tomorrow. I'm preparing a piece on monetizing Barbados. Monetizing, and I will send it to you tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. I got it. Yeah.
Ever baby born is Molly baby. Whatever happens belongs to Molly. She takes his stamp, and then she puts her name up on it. Nothing happens in Barbados that does not belong to Molly. Once it's good, but if there's an error, she runs and hides like this Whitney and Bimpe. Have you heard the Prime Minister say a word on Bimpe recently?
No.
Gone hiding. She gone hiding. She's not saying a word and got the governor center drink out there swimming in a pond and going to water.
and dragging down the commercial banks.
Yes.
Dragging the commercial banks like a drowning man. And
I am not a monetarist. I am not economist. I am not a financial guru. I don't know those things. But I know that the 3 cents I got, I try to guard it because I know how long I could go last, and I need to be able to survive so I don't go beg Molly. So I'm very careful with how I deal with my money. And when I hear the BIMTE player come, I wanted more information. People who are elderly can benefit from digitization. You don't have to leave home to transact business and so on. But a lot of them are not computer savvy. Some of them are afraid of even a cell phone. They don't have Instagram accounts. They rely on their children to do those things. So if you go into a digitization program or whatever for any project, you need to do programs that can make them sensitive and knowledgeable about what the implications are, how to use it. Encourage them to talk to their children, their grandchildren, to help them understand the process. Nothing so is done. But you take my mother is 91 this year. Are you asking her to set up an account to get her pension? And that her pension is going to transfer to her account. What account? My mother can't even understand what she account is. Now, my mother can't risk all that senile. But you got to tell me now, you got to put a program and say, all of you who got parents who are in dementia, unable to do so, this is what you need to do. Do we go to the bank and get permission to help them? What is that I'm supposed to do for my mother's account? That is the thing that you do.
Yeah.
But you run off and you start it, and then you hear that some of the banks ain't buying, half of the banks buying, half ain't buying. I mean, we are not dummies. We are intelligent people who in school. And if all of us got responsibility for people who are elderly, I'm 73 years old. I may be a little bit computer savvy, but I ain't into banking. And my mother less so, and my sister less so, and my brother less so. And all of them don't know anything about BMP. So do a program, series of programs for the last 3 months we have been doing, telling us how do we help each other to make ourselves ready to access and use these services. Nothing so is done. You come in here, we go on BMP. And the next minute, I waiting for my pension, not a cent. Because this bank ain't put it on, the next bank they tie in, and I got responsibilities for A, B, and C for my health program. But it's Morley's government.
So with all of this that we're talking about here, our topic, your topic is who is Mia Motley. You cited the fact that when she announced the National Day of Mourning, that it was out of place. It was not planned.
Out of place.
Actually, somebody sent me something here, which I think is very important. I wouldn't say who sent it, but somebody who would know. And they said that the National Day of Mourning is supposed to be properly planned, right? It involves official public acts of remembrance, reflection, and respect, right? They talk about the mounting, the flag, the flag protocols, moments of silence, memorial services, etc. So and so what I read that, and I because I want people to understand that you are not just nitpicking. You are somebody
No,
learn, you understand culture, and
I have
here to educate us.
I have been a public officer. I know when Barbados died. I know when Tom Adams died. I was at the university when Tom Adams died. And the whole place, you could hear mourning songs, but it was not declared yet. But the environment changed. I went to the university's accounts and it closed. Nobody announced anything. You let the day pass and then you sit down and plan the day of national mourning. So all Barbadians understand what we're about. That idiot makes the announcement and now said there will be a second day of mourning because she recognizes that she do ignorance. And Barbadians don't want to call her out. I will call her out. Because I have no fear for what I say. What I say makes sense. You can't call it. What if he got? I mean, he got 6 weeks for national mourning. Is that great? But that got to be a decision made not by Morley, but by a committee of people who understand protocol, who sit down and discuss what is required for the passing of such a great Barbadian. They get together and say, this is the things we're going to do. A day of national mourning. We can do a day of condolences. We can put him at Queen's Park. We can put him at the National Stadium. We can do this. She's going to declare everything. Barbados does not belong to her. It does not belong to Motley. And that's the point I've been trying to make now for the longest time.
say that again, because they need the elders like yourself. Barbados need the elders, the seniors like yourself, stand up and tell the truth.
Barbados is not Molly's place. It's not her plaything. Barbados is a country with a population with break people.
Correct.
And Molly believes that she can get up in the morning and say, kill a man any day.
Yeah.
Marcia, it depresses me. So I get cursed in supermarket, and I said I would talk about who Molly really is.
So
and I'm sorry.
What makes her? Who is she? When she
I'm sorry to have started this way, but I love Sir Garfield Sobers. As all will tell you or tell anybody, as much as a man can love a man and stay a man.
Yes.
Bryce always say that. He always say that about Sobers. He loves Sobers as much as a man can love a man and remain a man.
Yes.
And all of us who know Sobers, that our men will say that. He was one of the greatest human beings ever to grace Barbados. And I asked people to go and read his tribute for the national heroes. He wrote a tribute, and that thing is an excellent piece right from his heart. But let me tell you a little bit about Molly. Barbadians don't know Molly was a young Democrat. Barbadians don't, or a lot of pretend, Caswell Franklin may have said it, but her father got into some trouble in 1976. And the then Prime Minister of Barbados, Barrow, sent him off as the permanent representative to the United Nations or the United States government. I don't remember which of them it was. And he went there, and then you turn up at George Street. Every now and then you would see her at the George Street headquarters. But she recognized very early that there were some very bright young men and women in there. And because she had political ambitions, she decided she would just disappear from the Democratic Labour Party. And then she returned in 1986 on the platform speaking for the Labour Party. She just disappeared. And then in 1991, she contested the same constituency that she misrepresents now. And Leroy Buffett beat her in that constituency, and some internal ranklings in the Democratic Labour Party weakened the base support, and Motley was able to win in 1994. Barbadians got some real confused memories, and they shut down their brains for convenience, because this woman now appears all powerful, as though she's some gorilla foot. But when I made her Minister of Education and Youth in 1994, and one of the first things that happened in that ministry is that a man who was a dedicated education guru, Ralph Boyce, was transferred from India into Ministry of Agriculture, and Molly Borden, who she liked in that ministry. I remember having a discussion with Ralph Boyce at the NUPW. He said the only thing he knows about agriculture is that he got a lime tree. He got a lime tree here. That's the only thing he knows about agriculture. And it was a big joke for him, because he has spent his entire life dealing with education and education administration. He was taken out of education. And I dare say, except for the little period with Ronald Jones, education has suffered from Molly's intervention all that time back in 94. But Molly was also responsible for youth affairs. And we had developed the Barbados Youth Service in 1992, well, late 91 into 92. And we were doing a pilot program. We started with 100 kids at Grisette's Community Center there in that outside the industrial park. We started with 100 kids, and we developed a wide-ranging program of personal development, personal skills, community development, youth awareness, community involvement, and so on. And that program was going on, and we were increasing the program content because you it's a new program, and you're trying to build out what are the most critical issues that you need to run with to get young people to understand what their roles are in society. So you playing around with the program content and so on. You adjusting it as you go ahead. And the government changed in 1994. And the first act of Motley was to increase the numbers of the intake from 100 to 200 before even a thought. Engage her hand and her pen without getting a brain wave into it. And that, to my mind, was the first area of this destruction of the Barbados Youth Service. And I was working there. I was employed there. And I say, and the people who work with me, and there, Patricia, those will tell you that we all left. We all left in frustration. I don't want to call a lot of people. The program, the ones who were social and youth development officers couldn't stand Motley. We all left or were terminated. So between 94, when Motley became Minister of Youth Affairs, the whole crowd of people left, disappeared. And a new cadre of people came in, and the youth service became a place of dance, frolic, music, partying. It was not about personality development, adjustments to social change and so on. It was not about that. All that went out. That went out. It became a place of frolic and happiness. Well, luckily the government was changed in 2018, and efforts 2008, and they brought in a very bright young man as director, and the director youth service also a very good man who would then begin to try to get the program redirected into focus. Now, let me tell you all this, Barbadians. We had a national youth policy. I asked Motley, I don't know how business don't know how destructive Motley is. I don't think business understand the beast that they're dealing with. The government under Motley brought in a committee in 2019 to design a new youth policy for Barbados. After 3 years, the report is presented to Motley. This is where we want youth development to go. These are the activities and the programs and the policy initiatives we want to follow. Somewhere in Motley's cabinet or friends of her cabinet, that file is catching dust. And young people, they're shooting one another every day. Lost without direction, and a policy document designed at cost to the taxpayers somewhere in Motley's drawers, whether it's in Cologne, there by Sandy First Center, or in her house there in behind BIM. I don't know, but the document designed by a committee set up by her remains untouched for the last 3 years. And Bajans walking about saying that they want to sing in her choir. The best choirs, in my view, are church choirs, school choirs, community choirs. To get any choir, That any choir that is not connected to those beings is not a good choir. And I say all that to say I don't have anything about Molly that is personal. It's not personal. It is about program, policy, building out structures, institutions that can lead Barbados forward. That's my issue with Molly. She does not care about those things. Molly's about winning elections, stopping oppositions from forming so that she can stay in office. And Barbados don't seem not to understand that Molly doesn't care about anything else. So everything she got to be out first. She got to be the first person that jumps in the pond. Whether it's a 1 foot pond or 10 foot pond, Molly won't jump in first. But all she got on, what it is put on your neck. All they put like protection gear and the rest jumping in, but she ain't going none. Molly, when I say this, Molly, Marcia education in 94 with EduTech. Marcia. She managed youth service and youth development in 94 as the minister. Molly was then sent to Home Affairs. She mashed up the post office and Home Affairs. She mashed up CIRO. It's now called the Department of Emergency Service, but it was called Central Emergency Relief Organization. Molly mashed up that. She went to Urban and it went to the Parliamentary Commission and it was called the worst institution in Barbados. Molly was the minister. She mashed up that. I went on as director and find files sticking up in the ceiling in the boardroom. Drop out one day, we look up and we pull one of those tiles out the ceiling and files drop down. I swear on my mother's life, that happened. And Molly was just the minute off as minister.
What the files were doing up in the ceiling?
She sent it to God for God to look at.
So hold on.
I said, I do not lie like that. A board meeting and people look at somebody talking. What's those things in the ceiling there? Where pull the tiles on them, tiles up there. A whole set of files drop down. A whole list of people who had loans and grants. Molly was the minister. And Barbadians. Right, Oinafa said that he gave Molly every opportunity to become a leader, and he was disappointed. Bajans thought it was a personal vexation. People thought Arthur was being spiteful and personal. He was not. He was being honest and accept that he made a mistake by trying to put Molly in positions that she have no capability or interest in being part of. Molly just wants to rule, not to lead and to direct, to rule. As I suppose said, she wants to dictate what happens in Barbadians' lives. And we live in it. We allowing her to do it. We sit back and accept whatever Molly does. I know how much the skipper can give me upstairs to be on this rock, but I will spend the rest of my days saying just what I say now, as long as Molly is Prime Minister Barbados.
You know, I listen to you speak, and I don't want to interrupt you too much, but I want to say quick before you go back. No wonder. There are lots of us who believe that man was removed, or when Arthur was killed. Removed so that because he was speaking the truth. He wasn't afraid of saying what it is. And he was removed.
he and I had a very strange relationship. We had a long-term friendship that I met him. We have a very good friend, both of us share a very good friend who was at university with him in Mona. And we would meet at his house and play Scrabble and Whist and Hearts and those things. And when he became prime minister, I remember I was invited to the throne speech, and I went to the stairs and I told him, my man, I wish you all the best. Just do what you believe in your heart is the best things. And it's already, we're opposite sides, but thank you, man. Thank you, man. The next conversation I had with him as the prime minister was that he put on my weight and he cursed me. Is it normal? Is it normal? But after what we then had this thank you on the platform, I used to make his life miserable. The truth is, I used to make his life miserable on the platform, and he would abuse me whenever he see me, and it was fun. It was fun for me because I know if that was his way of telling me, I want you under my skin. But when the Morley issue came up, he was trying to be as honest as possible to warn Barbadians. Do not look at the facade. Look past that. Look past the veneer. And look into the issues. Look into the programs. Look into not the language, because Morley uses a lot of words. A lot of words, and when you add them together, they're just cliches and empty statements. There's no meaning to a lot of things Morley says. It's just gargoyle that she creates and spits out. But I don't know how Christian people are and what they believe happens when you die. But if what Barbadians say that you can react in your grave, I forgot to be turning over and tossing and tussling in his grave, that he has put this woman in a position that she can know undermine all the good work that was done before her. Whatever you said, and I don't care what these new economic politicians say, all the strong and them about the economy and so on. I don't even want to talk with Bimpe, because that had my belly hurt me this morning. My mother asked me what's Bimpe. I can't even explain it to she. My mother 91. What's Bimpe there? I tell you, mommy, I supposed to know, but I can't tell you. My mother's 91 years old. And the central bank governor and Strong and them missed the first cardinal responsibility is to inform the people who are least able to understand. Because if it's a national issue, the people that are going to struggle the most is the one you spend the most time on. The vulnerable, the elderly who got their pensions to collect, who got their water bills to pay, who don't understand what computer is, who don't understand what a cell phone is. You got to spend time educating them. And then when you look at the response to the governing central bank, or one of them that said that something blocked.
Blockchain?
Something blocked. In other words, they did not do enough programs educating. Yes. And I remember when I first they bought the digital ID. A friend of mine told me, so when I get on the bus, no, and I don't have my digital ID, can the driver tell me get off? And I said, I don't know. I got to ask my friend who was the assistant director up there then. He told me they have not made a decision yet what's going to happen, but it probably be phased in and phased out. Tell Barbadians that. Explain to them. And what does the digital ID do in terms of all of my papers? Does that connect me to Bimpe automatically? Or do I have to sign a form to agree that my digital ID connects me to getting on the bus, to getting other services, going to welfare? or is it an automatic process? That's all. I got my ID card. I get national insurance pension. From time BIMPay comes, am I required to go and agree to be part of the BIMPay exercise, or does my digital ID automatically tie me into it? Tell us.
Yeah.
And explain to us.
Kind of I mean, this is her government. So when you look at all of the confusion around BIMPay, read the elderly, read the seniors, people who are not computer literate, what does that say about Mia Motley? Because we're talking about who is Mia Motley. What does that say about her?
She does not care. Marcia, you care. Marcia, you would explain. When you talk to me and come in the program, that put on a nice shirt, that set up right, keep your head in the middle of the thing. You care how you look.
Yes.
You care. More tell me, come on, man. She care. Because how I look and what I do is not important to her. Once she is on, the focus must be on her. The worse I look, the better for her. And Barbadians don't understand that. Somebody goes at cricket. Barbadians playing a one-day match. West Indies playing a one-day match. Sobers passes. And Molly finds herself at Kensington Oval to tell Barbadians how great she is. Not how great Sobers was, how great Molly was. Because it was about her appointment of Rihanna as a national hero. And the relationship between Sobers and Rihanna. It wasn't about Sobers, because Molly doesn't know anything about Sobers. Unless he finds some story that somebody tells her. She doesn't know one thing about Sobers. You understand? You want to know what Sobers, they got to talk about people who born in the 40s and the 50s, who like myself grew up and as a black boy growing up, struggled to even school, foundation school, and a boy at foundation in the 1960s and 70s. You dealing with a school trying to deal with working class people now coming into environment where privilege existed before, and the performance of Sobers was critical to how we thought of ourselves as the black boys. And I say this without any fear contradiction. Sobers was pivotal in us feeling confident that we could achieve whatever we wanted to achieve. And then also in that environment, you had Muhammad Ali, Pele, black individuals who were heralded as the best in the field that they were in. Sobers was one of them. And you got Molly who never had that experience. I'm gonna tell Barbadians that she know him. She know boy what she know. You go ask. Oh, and I forgot. You go ask Stuart. David Simmons. Then you go ask. Don't ask Molly anything about Sobers. She can't understand or will never understand because she's from an office of privilege. Ask us, the underprivileged, the ones of us who struggle, to tell you who Sobers really is and what he meant to us. Molly can't know. She can't even begin to think that she knows. But because she's Prime Minister, she feels she has to be part of the script. That's not politically sensible, Molly. Step back. Ask George Payne to speak about Sobers. He knows, he understands Sobers. You don't. And that's not being personal. You just can't know. Reading about it is not enough. We live Sobers. we understood what sober is about. When I took my little brother, born in 1961, on my back from Black Rock, on my back up to the garrison, to sort of put the thing on Sober's shoulder, put the sword on Sober's shoulder. Listen, we prayed and walked back from up there. You know, Sober's so it's special, and you want to be in the spotlight. Step back, know your place, and allow people who can relate to what Sobers was about, what he stood for, and what he did for people like myself and people generations after. Not only in cricket, because Sobers was not only about cricket. Sober was a colonial boy telling the colonists, I am better than women. I'm gonna go respect that. Despite all the pressure, the hardship, I am the greatest. He gonna say it. He did it. He never said that he was better than anybody else in his life. He showed us and showed the world what he was made of. And let me tell you, he is the best human being I have ever met. The greatest. An example, I don't know if you will ever find again. I tell a story. I got a cousin called Calvin Maskell, my cousin. We were having a discussion about cricket. I can't remember what the topic was. He said, Mandy, let me see if I get a number for Sobers. So Gary and I called him and see if he would entertain us. And Calvin took up the phone and called Conde Riley and asked him for Sir Gary's number. Conde gave him and he called Sir Gary. Calvin called Sir Gary. This is Calvin's part of the conversation. Hi, Sir Gary, this is Calvin. Calvin Maskell. Okay, yeah. I hear Gary said, okay, yeah, that's same call here. I understand we there discussing whatever the issue was. Can we come by you? Suppose if you come by me, of course you can come by me. Calvin, so how do we get there? He said, I live in Highgate. Some number. I be getting the car. I be drive by Sir Garfield Sobers. We and a body. We and the big cricketers. We two little boys that we like cricket bad. And we spent 2.5 hours in Sir Garfield house sitting down, talking about cricket, drinking a few drinks and laughing. We're two nobodies. That is a man of the greatest compassion, humility, and respect for other people. He didn't need to do that. That's not going to make him anything. It was just natural. And Molly won't get this movie. Molly won't get this play. Marcia, I get passionate about these things because Sober is so special. My father knew his two brothers. My father was his brother's contemporary. My father knew Gerald and George. They were all seamen together. Right, so I knew George. He was at the time superintendent of the building, with the old National Insurance building that they knocked down. He was the man in charge of the building, making sure the pipes work and those things. Yeah, and he and my father were friends. Right, so I met Sobers mainly because of West Hall. And I lived my life worshiping him. And most people who born in the 40s and 50s worship Sobers as an example of a human being who did not know race, class, creed, nothing. All he knew was to serve and to do the best he was to lift up the people around him. He never, even against his foes, his cricketing foes, he always felt like he had to encourage them. Even when they were playing against him, he would have a moment to go and sit down and talk with the cricketer on the other side about his strengths and his weaknesses. God made him, and God made him a Bajan. And Bajans need to be proud of that man. And to tell Marley, stop trying to denigrate him by trying to be a pivot in his funeral. And tell her, for me, don't behave the same way she behaved at Owen Alpha's funeral.
How
I
is
want
that?
Barbados to tell her so. She went down there and Owen Alpha's cousin, Dr. Reverend Doctor, man, you know, he was to do the eulogy, and Marley spoke so long that he had a struggle, hustle through his to get the body down in the grave early enough. That's why she don't do it. It's not her platform.
You're saying there was a family member who was supposed to do the eulogy.
He did it, but she was supposed to speak for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and she spoke for nearly an hour. She wanted to be star girl. And then people had to hustle then to get the body into the graveside because she wanted to be star girl. She gives people national funerals, whatever kind of funeral, so that she can speak. Because it's about her. This young lady from the fisheries, I am certain that she can get whatever funeral it is, because Molly wants to speak. And tell our Barbadians how good she knows she and what she do for she. That's Molly. I went taking out some friends of mine in February, and they passed by the little plaque that they got there down in St. Lucie that marked where Pat Barrow birthplace was. And Molly ain't bigger than Barrow. The man who the plaque represents, he got a 1-inch font and Molly got a 4-inch font. The plaque is not about Barrow, it's about Molly.
Where is this plaque? Where is the plaque?
In St. Lucie, down where Bar house the house was. Go down there. The plaque is designated as the birthplace of our father of nation. And Molly name in a 4-inch font and his in a 1-inch. So if you feel that Molly, who born there? That's who Molly is. That's who Molly is. So when they say these things, I don't know. There's nothing Molly put her hand on that she ain't mash up. Nothing. Youth service, education, post office, Crab Hill police station, everything.
Crab Hill police station. What happened there?
Molly gave her a contract to repair the Crab Hill police station. And a lot of investigation about the expenditure. And when I look in the walls, rather than going steal the walls and then plastic cups. Rather than go steal in the contractor didn't know that about building.
Wait a minute. I never heard about this one.
No, that's the Auditor General's report. That's what the early thing. That's Auditor General's report.
So you're saying that under when Motley was
the minister responsible for home affairs.
Home affairs. I remember that. Home affairs. And so
I had a contract given out for a police station in St. Lucie, and the Auditor General said that the members were not structured with steel, that in plastic cups and paper cups and all sorts of things. Barbadians got shot and got pretend that they don't know Motley.
Well, so that was the Crab Hill. I look at the guy ask a question. Well, what happened at the post office?
Well, Lord have mercy. That post office was to get privatized. Molly had about 6 efforts to get it done. She bring in all kind of consultants. And in the end, I think the mover, I think half a mover, and I can't remember who he put, Glenn Murray or somebody to deal with it. It was beyond Molly's ability and capacity to deal with it. She was in charge of 0. And she brought a young lady who used to sell tickets at Garrison. I make she deputy. I used to sew.
Zero. So what is zero? What is zero? That is the
Central Emergency Relief Organization, now called DEMS.
yeah, right.
Department of Emergency Services. I asked Molly about that because they represented the young lady. I was a member in UPW when Molly brought someone unqualified. And the government has sent the young lady to do a master's in emergency services. And Molly imposed a lady on her in that department and caused confusion in there because she was Molly friend. I say that. Then she put me in 10 courts. I represented the victim as a member of the National Union of Public Workers. Molly destructive. Molly don't build, don't create. Molly destroys. The only thing Molly builds is friendships for her clique. That's all. Barbados' this development and so on has Molly doesn't care about nothing, so it doesn't come in her brain. Molly start getting up in the morning. What am I going to do today to make me, Molly, look good? What can I do today for the whole world to elevate me another step up? Should I go to a UN meeting? Should I fly over to Canada and stand up on the stairs and do a national broadcast about the importance of flying over to Canada for 3 days? Should I go to Zurich? That's what Molly brain works. It's not about Barbados' development. It's about Molly's elevation to be somebody. But when the history is written, dear Miss Molly, it's not going to make you look good. You can do all these things in this no math. But the aftermath, ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. People remember Tom Adams, remember Granny Adams, remember Barrow, Sandy Ford, Arthur, Stewart, and so on. For the things they did and few mistakes that they made, but they will not remember you as what Arthur called you, a despot. Your memorial said Molly, in all of the successes she had at the polls, was really and truly a despot. Because that's what you are. You care nothing about Barbados' development. It's about you, Molly. And the quicker that Barbados recognize that, the earlier we get this country to change its direction and get agriculture and manufacturing, housing development, education transformation, all of those, the management of the hospital, teaching service on paths of sustained development. As we speak now, every one of them is in a crisis. Housing in a crisis, you know, announce a project in a vineyard. In a vineyard. The word vineyard says wine production, the growing of grapes, agriculture pursuits, and you turn it into a concrete base so that some purveyor can make money. They got lands other places. They got land in St. Lucie begging for development. Land up in other parts of St. Philip that begging. You going in a vineyard and decide to build concrete and to sell the houses at the base $170,000 as a bit. That's the cheapest. And up there thumping your chest that this is a great thing for poor people. Where you come from? Me and Molly, where did you come from? Who sent you? I 73 years old. I don't have much longer to go, so I don't care who would say or do about me. But I come here every time I get opportunity and talk. What my belly tells me is the truth. And you can't put me in a court because I don't lie on you. And if I tell a lie, it's because you tell me. I saw the Urban Development Commission staff. A young man I got a lot of respect for on a podcast or whatever it is, I don't know. Telling Barbadians that last year they do $30 million. $30 million. She said from April last year to March this year, Urban Development Commission spent $30 million in projects. Marcia, I was director there. I was director. You know the most money I ever had? And it was there, $17 million. 70 most I ever had. $17 million.
How many years you were there again? Remind me.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. 2009 to 2019. I had a summer Motley too. And that's a different story. I can write that. I ain't coming up program. I can write my experiences at Urban. I can write it. But he's saying that he had $30 million. And I don't deny that he had $30 million. I ain't know. But that, for me, as a former director, that's nothing money. If I had $30 million, there won't be a roof in Barbados that ain't fixed. You know what's that? 30? You know, it's $30 million. To replace a roof, put in a bed, let me sell $50,000 with the structure at the bottom and $10,000 on the rooftop and so on. That's big work. But he's saying that people got to understand that the demand is great. Why don't he tell Barbados how the $30 million was spent? Ask you how much money was spent in the bus stands. The two runaway projects that they got, the one down there in Cheapside, that was finished in October last year, that's still in there yet. Find out the $300 million included that project that it can't get finished. And who the manager is and who the architect is and how much money has been paid to the architect and the managers of that project. That ain't got nothing to do with toilet pits and the roofs that need doing. And the project up in the bus stand, again, that was overflated. That's my word, overflated. I normally don't get involved in anything at Urban. As a former director, I leave it alone. But when he comes and does a portal, he had, you know, he said, no, he said $30 million or $300 million. I gotta go back and check. I wash the money. And that project down in Cheapside with the buildings and kiosks autonomy down there. That was the finish in October last year. They still got the plywood locking it in. No, nothing happening there. And that's the Urban project. And at the same time, the place in Deacons Road that Urban used to run for skills training and youth development shut down. And rats and mice and millipedes. And that was too good for poor people. That project in Deacons shut down. And that used to cost us $1 million a year. Maximum. And that's at the high level. Because you're talking about employing 6 people and doing programs. Skills training used to pay for the programs. Carpentry and masonry, tiling and so on. They shut it down. I get very emotional when it comes. And all that under Motley, you know. All that under Motley. Because there's no ministry in Barbados that Motley does not direct what happens. So that's why you find in ministers we look like they're dumb. Ain't that they're dumb? Is that their mouth shut down and tied down because they can't not say anything unless they get an instruction from the bully. Not one of them. Not one of them, the last of them that had balls is George Spain. And he tear out and went home because you can't be part of a team and cursing them every day. So let me down with this. That was George's position. Can't be a part of a government and God be cursing everybody in minister and the prime minister every day. Let me down with this. That's George's position. And I respect him for that. The same way respect Ralph Storm for telling them what a car is have. But the rest of them, the Minister of Labor, a nuisance. Minister of Housing, don't know the left hand from the right hand. Education, bull talk, enough talk, empty talk. A lot of bull, nothing else. Call one of them, call any ministry. How many ministers are going to education? 2 or 3, I don't know. The man at poverty alleviation. Who I know it is now, you don't know who his body is? Who are fisheries? Who are youth affairs? Who is the minister? Who is the minister of youth affairs? I ask people who he is or she. You don't remember? You don't remember who is what? This place is in a hole, a deep hole, is in a cesspool. And the cesspool is not made of feces from pigs. It's made from people who's drawing large salaries, sitting down and saying absolutely nothing when one individual determines what happens for the rest of us. And none of them ain't got enough gumption to say, ma'am, no. How about this alternative? How about that alternative? Can we sit down and work out a better path? Can we evaluate and reevaluate this project and see? Not one of them. Not one. And when they collect their checks every month, they should vomit. They have not earned the money. But you know, a lot of people, they're waiting, hanging up on their skirt. They're waiting for a little handout. So everybody remain silent because everybody waiting to get a little pittance. Look, Marcia, I come here and I say what you have to say. And people would say I get very personal, I get very emotional. I'm 73 years old. I have seen the best and the worst of Barbados. I lived through the oil crisis in the 70s when I lined up my mother's car by the gas station the night before to get on a line to get $20 of gasoline to last us for 4 days. I was part of that experience. I was part of the 8% cut when I signed a form to take 8% of my salary out. I was part of the layoffs in that same 8% cut period. I was part of that. And I know what hardship and difficult times are. I work at the union when I had to represent people woman got 3 children. I work late, 3 days. I get sent home and I got one beg supervisor. We keep she on at school meals. I know them things. I know so much pain. I know so much suffering. I know the young boy I met standing at Eagle Hall in the morning. I was working at community development there. He's standing up there by a place called Burger B Day. There by up next to Indian shop. I see standing there going to work. I said, we don't hear you should be at school. He might ain't got that money to send me school. And I tell you, get in here, carry me home by you. I end up taking him to welfare and his mother. I get in uniforms and things for him to go by the courts in Paris. He was going to go to courts in Paris. He's now living in Canada. I know all of them things. I know all of them things. But I've never seen in my life people struggling, suffering, and remain silent in their suffering. And it has to be due with fear of a response by a government that picks on people who says, I disagree, I don't support you. This is not the Barbadian way. People, we have grown accustomed being B's and D's and NDPs and all sorts of things, and quarrel at polls and live with one another. I got BLP friends that made Glenn was never BLP, but Glenn and I had political arguments. His wife and I are good friends. His sister-in-law and I were extremely close. We had political arguments. We had good friends. He cook, my mother cook. We had political discussions. It never made us dislike or hate one another. Never. I don't know Caswell Franklin's politics, but I support he was a David Simmons man. So we had arguments, and he cussed me and I cussed him about issues. We remain friends up to now. Now, if you say something about Molly, people hate you. People won't curse you. People want to use the worst thing since toilet paper. Just because you said Molly is not the right thing for Barbados. And they could curse me, selling a little black boy to the day. I maintain that Molly, as the leader of this country, is the worst leader we have ever had. Ever. Because all the others, whatever faults they had, they were driving to make Barbados better, to make the lives of people living in Barbados better, more comfortable, more sustainable. All Molly is interested in is making Molly somebody. Because the truth is, she ain't really much. She likes the global stage where she can pontificate on the most popular cliches that she can find. But when you look at the substance, nothing. I say that. And people may say, well, I arrogant and I talking rubbish, and they're fine. But go and do the research and look at the evidence. Oh, I'm talking about Bridgetown Initiative. Walk down Ball Street tomorrow and ask the first 10 people you meet what's the Bridgetown Initiative. And if one of them explain to you what they understand, I jump in your wharf. Ask the next 10 what it is Molly talks about reparations and what they think about reparations. And if any of them answer you, I jump in St. Lucie, jump off St. Lucie Cliff and take another 10 yards and ask them about climate change and what Molly's contribution has been to climate change. Again, I run up the wharf and backflip and jump off again. It's just phrases, empty talk, rhetoric. Molly has not developed or designed one initiative that makes sense. Molly's greatest contribution to climate change is to allow the cruise ships to destroy the corals, the coral bed of Barbados, that the people say will never be repaired in 10 lifetimes. I like this. I like this. And when I get serious, you know, and what bothered me, Marty went in St. George one day and tell people that you're ungrateful. Never asked Marty.
That you are ungrateful.
Yeah. At a political meeting in the by-election in St. George, that don't mind that went there, I think you're ungrateful. I never asked Molly for nothing. She never do anything for me. Never asked Molly a favor. I never asked Molly do any. As a matter of fact, I used to do for her when I was director urban. I never sent any of my offers out to respond to any request she made. I would go with them so nobody can accuse them of playing politics, because everybody knows the Dems. So if my officers got to visit Motley and her constituency, I went with them. So and when she went and called me hungry, I just ignored her. And I know people feel like you can't ignore Prime Minister, but Motley what? Anyhow, Marcia, I don't know what time it is, but let me yes, coming at the 10 o'clock now.
Yes.
Right, let me make a general few statements about Motley. Barbadians are very sensitive about criticizing women. It's easy to tell a man he's an idiot or you disagree with him. But we step back when we come to criticize our women. And I know because my life was being driven and directed by my sister and my mother. My mother and my sister have been the greatest influencers of my life, my sister and my mother. My sister was younger than me and used to give me my lunch money and so on to go to school. Younger than me. My mother gave her that responsibility. And I go, Trixie, I can get my lunch money. So I know I value the strength and ability of women. So when I come and criticize Motley, it's not because it is a male-related female thing. That's not it. My issue is that Motley uses the sympathies of Barbadians. First female prime minister. A woman that wins 30 seats. A woman that controls a cabinet of men and keep them quiet and keep them shut down. To design and develop policies and programs that do nothing to augment and to build structures that can lead Barbados the next 50 years. Call one thing that Motley has done that you can see doing something for the next 15, 20 years. One thing, just one. Call one thing that Motley has done. Bimpe. Digital ID. Call one thing. The early governments built IDC. Agricultural Development Corporation. Those were created. We had a place called the Sanitation Service Authority was founded out of the vestry systems with a little pothole. This was a pothole in that with one truck. And the building Sanitation Service Authority to incorporate sanitation services for Barbados. The Transport Board, those were created to build national service called one thing that Motley as Prime Minister for 8 years has done, that we will leave a legacy of creativity and national development. Call I ask all who love her and worship her, call one single thing. The Barbados service was David Thompson's legacy for Barbados. After a lot of years of talking about it, Thompson took the bull by the horn and started the Barbados Youth Service. Motley changed the name to the Barbados. Some confusion. She changes names. Don't create nothing. Her brain doesn't work so. Her brain works to elevate Motley and the Motley legacy. So the fight that I had to stop Queen's Park from being Motley's Park, Dr. Motley's Park, that was pulled back. So that was another Motley legacy. This family, Motley family, got the most serves any family ever had, even more than Barra family, who got a deeper legacy. Because the Motley legacy is to survive. I went to a funeral last Friday for a young man who died in February and could not get a postmortem done till 3 weeks ago. Motley's family died and the postmortem was done in 6 days. This is Morley, Barbados. That family waited March, April, May, and June to bring closure to the loss of a loved one. Morley was able to do that hers in 2 weeks. This is Morley's Barbados. And all of y'all that jump on Morley's bandwagon, one day coming soon, the rest of Barbados will wake up. And all of y'all will recognize that the pain that y'all inflicted on the rest of us for holding up on her skirt tail was not worth it. Barbados is not a violent society, so that's not what I'm talking about. But y'all will walk about with the heads hang low. All of y'all will get on the little consultancies, the little trifles, the little pick, the little crop over gig, the trip to this place, get on a private jet, all of them will see that there are bigger things that are lasting and more and should be everlasting that you all have ignored to the detriment of the rest of us. I used to tell me 3, by God, a few more years, hopefully. And as I close, and I want to say thanks to Marcia for having me again, I want my last words to be on Sir Garfield Sobers, the greatest human being I have had the pleasure of having a drink with and sharing a smile and a conversation. He was a very, very special person. May God hold him and wrap him in his arms and his legacy live on and on and on to 4,000 years after now, that this man, like the Greek legends, his name stay forever written on the history of Barbados. I don't want to be political, but he and Aaron Barrow, those are my two people. And I mean, Sobers did say some things about Aaron Barrow. But I mean, tell you that man, Sobers, was a special human being. God hold him on. I mean, Barbados forever remember him and tell your children about him. All those who have never seen him back, go and get the footage. Who have never heard his speeches, never got a conversation with him. Watch him walk, watch him, listen to him talk. It was always telling of grace, passion, love. My cousin called him, was called Little Sobi. In a way, he used to walk like him, bowl like him, and try to bat like it. God bless Sobers. Thank you all for listening to me, and I hope I wasn't overburdening you with my negative thoughts about Morley. They're not negative. This is how I feel.
Not at all. Not at all. I want to say to you, sir, that tonight was very educational. And I keep saying that those who are senior among us must continue to speak. We need them to speak. The Glenn Murray has been, he used to be on Monday nights, and see everybody giving you hearts there, because it came from your heart. There were moments there that was so touching that you could cry. But you were speaking your experience, that nobody can take that away from you. It's your experience, you know. And I thought this is something that I would say to people: put on the show, and listen and re-listen and listen and re-listen. Send people to watch it. It is important. It is very, very important. Very, very important.
Marcia, do you plan to do an evening for Gary? So Gary, we get some people.
Yes. If you can help me to put it together, the plan. I was waiting, you see, because I am somebody, I'm going to move with protocol. I was waiting to hear what was happening in the country. You understand? Nationally.
Right, agreed. You can't jump out and do things that that don't cause disruption. I
Yes,
agree.
because we need to work with what is happening.
Coordinate things there. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that yes. So I
No,
told you
I know quite a few people who I don't know if the Reds will want come on because Reds is not strong. But I know my cousin called me. We used to call him Little Sobe because he loved and worshipped sobers. I mean, he did everything like sobers. He tried to be sobers, and he would love to come on and say something about it. I know my friend Ralph Thorne was personal with Sobe.
I would love that. In fact, what we were thinking is to do it live and stream it, so everybody will all be in one room.
Okay.
That is something that we would really invest.
But whatever I can do to help, just let me know. I certainly can get Kingdom. I know some journalists that would have interviewed Sobe and so on. And we already know a lot of things that people know. We want little personal stories.
Yes.
About what that man was, because he was Barbados. He was Barbados.
Help us to put it together, and and we will, if you have pictures ahead of time, we will talk. And anybody out there, we want personal stories because people
right.
Yeah. We want make it personal is what we want to talk.
Yes.
What we want to do. Okay.
So if we get about 6 or 8 people, and then we can get people to call in, that will work.
Yes.
All
Most
right.
definitely. Yeah. So we're gonna work it out. All right.
All right. Thank you for having me, and God bless.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
All right.
And stay safe. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
We want people to know this man is healthy. This
Yes.
man is healthy. Yes, and he has no suicidal thoughts. He has
No.
nothing. So you be careful up there.
No, every day I do either 2 or 3 miles on the street walking.
Thank you. We want Barbadians to know. So we don't want no stories that he wasn't. We watch him. He's healthy, and he's happy.
I'm very, very happy. Very happy.
He wants to live very, very long. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're announcing it on here. You all
All right, dear.
You all better leave him alone. Don't touch him.
All right.
God bless you.
All right. Thanks, Alleyne. We going. All right. Bye.
Listen, guys, how many of you are going to plan to? No, we can't take any calls. Can't take any calls. I have another program to actually go on right now at 10:30. Guyana. There's a program that I'm going to be on. I don't even have the link to send it to you. If I get the link, I'll send it out. But I have to go. I can't take any calls at all. Sorry about that, guys. But this program was just really, really great, very, very great, and thought a lot of information went forth. And so I ask you to share it. The editors, I would ask them to cut out this section of the program and even cut it in small pieces, because he was on for an hour and a half. We can cut it in part 1, part 2, and part 3, and put it out as soon as possible and put it on repeat. Put it on repeat and value it. Value it. Mr. Owen Arthur is not with us anymore. And he was trying to tell us something, and he didn't have enough time to say it. He was taken, in my opinion, it's my opinion, I believe he was taken out. My opinion. I didn't say by whom. I just believe that is what happened. Yeah. So somebody, yes, yeah. Folks, all right. So here we go. We end this program tonight, and I'm going to see you on Wednesday night. We have another very big program happening tomorrow on Wednesday. All right. See you all. God bless you. I love you all. Keep praying for Derek Alleyne. Can you say a prayer for him tonight before you go to bed? Say a prayer for Derek Alleyne. Okay. Yeah. We want him to live long. We need those people to stand up in this country. We need the seniors, people who know, who understand, and who are not afraid. Not afraid. God bless you all. Have a good night. And let's see if I can how do I do this one? Let's see if I can get that up. Oh, I'll get that up before we go. No music tonight. Dave is not on to play any music for you. So this is where we end. God bless you. Bye-bye.